Sit back and get ready to enjoy an unparalleled movie experience.
There's a lot of hype out there about IMAX, but is it worth paying the price for it? I'll let you know, coming up. Hi, I'm Isaac, and this is Movie University. So what exactly is IMAX? I think most people do a quick Google search and look up IMAX and they realize, oh, it's a bigger screen. So therefore the picture is more awesome. But then you check out the ticket price and it's like, maybe not. Not only does the price throw you off, but today we see so many premium movie formats out there that you have a slew of options to choose from. Regal RPX, Dolby Vision, Cinemark XD, AMC Prime, and a host of other premium options have popped up over the years to compete with IMAX theaters. It gets even more confusing when IMAX advertises like this. With so many options to choose from, which format are you supposed to see? To help clear that up, here are 7 good and bad things about IMAX. Number 1, let's do a quick history of IMAX. It was created in the late 1960s for documentary filmmaking. It was never actually intended for Hollywood use. As of June 2016, there were 1,012 IMAX screens in 69 countries, with 430 of those being in the United States. Number 2, IMAX is shot in its own 70mm film stock, much larger than the conventional 35mm film stock still used in some Hollywood movies today. 35mm film has a digital equivalent of 6,000 lines of horizontal resolution, while IMAX's 70mm film has the equivalent of 18,000. I say IMAX's film because there are 2 different types of 70mm film, which we won't be going over in this video. Just with that info, you can tell that IMAX is going to look great. When you see or hear the taglines of "shot with IMAX cameras" or "an hour of this movie was filmed with IMAX cameras," those sequences are going to look absolutely gorgeous on screen. There is a trade-off though for movie directors. IMAX cameras are really heavy, they're really loud, and they're very expensive if you break one. They also take a long time to reload film and have very limited mounting options on camera rigs, which is why no Hollywood film so far has been filmed entirely in IMAX and why so few movies use the cameras. For The Dark Knight Rises in 2012, Christopher Nolan toyed with the idea of shooting the entire movie in IMAX, but ended up shooting 2/3 of the movie in 35mm film. However, with 2017's Dunkirk, Nolan flipped those numbers with the majority of the war movies shot in 70mm IMAX format. And for the first time ever, a movie will be shot entirely in IMAX. It was announced in a press release that Marvel's Infinity Wars Parts 1 and 2 will be shot entirely in the IMAX format. Number 3. Now, how much bigger is an IMAX 70mm film screen compared to a conventional film screen? A lot bigger. The classic IMAX screen is around 75 feet tall, with the tallest IMAX screen ever in Sydney, Australia, reaching 117 feet high. Other theaters will have screens around 15 to 50 feet high. However, not all IMAX screens are this big, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Number 4. The geometry of an IMAX theater is also something that separates it from its competitors. IMAX seating puts viewers much closer and higher to the screen. Because you are closer to the screen, you are less aware of the edges of said screen, allowing you to forget that it's a movie and allowing the film to become more of an experience. However, IMAX also doesn't just change the seating, they also change the screen shape. The screen is slightly curved inward to help give you that immersion feeling. So being closer not only helps the feeling of wow, but it's also going to make the image on screen look better because the projector is also closer to the screen. Why does it matter if the projector is closer to the screen, you ask? When a projector is closer to the screen, it doesn't lose as much of light and travel from projector to screen, giving a brighter image for the audience. Number 5. The sound in an IMAX theater is probably as impressive as the picture size. It's common practice in many theaters to put the front speakers behind the projection screen. Since IMAX has more real estate to work with, they can put in more and bigger speakers in a theater. IMAX is so obsessed with its sound quality that if anyone in the theater manually adjusts the speakers on site, an IMAX technician can reset the control remotely from an IMAX network center. IMAX speaker systems are also customly designed for their specific location. Each theater is built differently, and IMAX understands this and designs tailored sound systems for each individual IMAX location. While Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, and Aura are a quantum leap from what they used to be, at the end of the day, they're still pulled off a shelf and calibrated for a theater, and there's only so much calibration you can do. These other systems also do not take into account the acoustic design of different locations either, whereas IMAX not only creates a custom system as stated before, but also has its own patented sound environment. When you go into a theater, you'll notice that the walls are lined with fabrics and weird looking curtains. Behind all that is some sound insulation in the walls. This is to help give you a truer listening experience while cutting down on any sound from adjoining theater rooms. IMAX has created its own material designs, layouts, and soundproofing techniques that when combined with the speaker system, they sound incredible. You'll notice in an IMAX theater that there are no sweet spots to sit when it comes to sound because it all sounds amazing. Number 6. Now so far, I've hyped up IMAX and how amazing it is, but the sad reality is you're going to be hard pressed to find a true IMAX theater near you. And what I mean by true IMAX is the screen size. There aren't a whole lot of real IMAX theaters in the country. Of the 430 plus IMAX theaters in the United States, only 88 of them are capable of showing movies in the 70mm film format. The rest of these IMAX theaters show movies in digital IMAX, or as some people like to call them, LIMAX. Now the sound is still going to be great, but the seating is going to be a little more on the conventional side, and the screen is going to be much smaller, but you're still going to be charged a regular IMAX admissions price. These LIMAX theaters use digital IMAX projectors. In short, they do produce the amazing bright picture, but at a 4K resolution on a smaller screen. Number 7. How the director and cinematographer choose to shoot the non-IMAX parts of the movie also plays a big part of the viewing experience. Quick and seemingly random cuts between IMAX and non-IMAX shots can be extremely jarring. You'll watch the action scenes in the IMAX format, but when it switches to the characters talking, the black bars will reappear at the top and bottom. Putting many or all the IMAX scenes in large blocks of the film is much more palatable to your eye. But even the non-IMAX camera can be important. Today's digital cameras, like the Arri Alexa and Red Epic, have image sensors with a bigger frame, which are equivalent or similar to IMAX's aspect ratio. That means scenes shot with both IMAX film and those digital cameras can be edited together and look more seamless on screen, even though you're going to see a drop in image quality when it switches from IMAX to another camera. Now, regardless of how a modern film is shot, it likely gets converted into a digital format for editing, a process called the digital intermediate. Most 35mm films go through either a 2K or a 4K resolution intermediate process, then get scaled up when printed on film for projection. IMAX has its own proprietary DI procedure called digital media remastering, or DMR, which is how 35mm films get upconverted to the IMAX format. The vast majority of IMAX films that you see on IMAX screens today are DMR films. Movies like Kingsman: The Golden Circle, Wonder Woman, and Logan were not shot in IMAX cameras, and their image quality is quite low in comparison. They instead went through IMAX's in-house upscaling process and were approved to be seen by audiences on an IMAX screen. So essentially what you're getting is a non-IMAX movie being upscaled on an IMAX screen. So you're still paying the money to go see it even though you're being cheated. Hence the term LIMAX. Conclusion. Now there are a few other factors considered that we aren't going to go into in this video. IMAX dual digital projectors, IMAX laser projectors, the quality of seating, or critics claiming IMAX is diluting its brand, or the IMAX 3D they keep shoving down our throats, are all topics that really start getting into the weeds in regard to the IMAX format. And I know by now you just want a conclusion at this point. So if the movie is advertised like this, definitely go see it on an IMAX screen. I actually had the pleasure of seeing Interstellar in a 70mm format in Los Angeles, and it was amazing and quite the experience. The screen was so big and it sounded and looked terrific. However, I understand that most IMAXs are not like that. IMAX is like that activity you do once in a while because of the cost associated with forking out $20 or more for one movie ticket. I'm currently only in driving distance of a LIMAX and only go a couple of times a year for the big budget action movies because I want the amazing sound that comes with it. For everything else, I go see it on a regular screen. Now how can you tell if it's a real IMAX screen or a LIMAX screen? I've included a link in the description below to help you navigate through all those. I hope this video was informational and you learned a lot about IMAX. Let me know what you think of the film format in the comment section below, and be sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out. My name is Isaac, and this is Movie University.